What's good with y'all, man? How y'all doing? Don't live for pleasure in this world. Yes, yes, it is a temptation. When you following God, when you really say, all right, Lord, I'm done with my sin. I'm done living for my pleasure. I'm done living for my comfort. And you really follow Jesus, you still gonna get tempted to go backwards. You still gonna get tempted to live that's the temptation, to be comfortable. A lot of times you don't even want to do those sins, but it's what's familiar. It's what's comfortable. And you going through hell, and it's the only thing that'll put out the fire. But stay strong during that temptation. Know that no temptation has overtaken you that isn't common to man, but God is faithful, and He won't allow you to be tempted beyond what you can bear. And after you've gone through the temptation, He'll give the crown of life to you if you endure. So stay faithful. And it's much harder. It's easier to sit here behind a camera and say this than it is to sit there and feel the temptation to do whatever it is that you're tempted to do and to not give into it. But if you want to reach what the Lord has for you, if you want to reach the Lord's destiny for you, if you want to be that Moses, if you want to be that Joshua, if you want to be that Caleb, then you got to be strong when it comes to temptation. Pleasure in this world ain't going to get you nowhere. It will get you nowhere. I look back. So I've been serving God for 2 years. I look back and I said, man, I'm so glad. I'm very glad that I made the decision that I did to follow Jesus. Because that way when I die, if I died right now, at least I'd have these past 2 years under my belt. And then I look at it, man, and I look at other people's lives that I know, and I see man, they've been living it for their pleasure. They still partying, still drinking, still smoking, still messing around with so-and-so. And they've gone nowhere. They've gone nowhere in life. They've done nothing for God. They haven't grown. In fact, you don't grow when you're living in pleasure. You actually going backwards. A lot of times there ain't no gray area. You either growing or you receding. And man, I look back and I'm just like, and that was me too. It ain't no judgment. I'm just saying. This is just the truth. Like when I was living in my pleasure, smoking, drinking, doing all that type of stuff, I wasn't growing. I wasn't going anywhere in life. I look back, it was really a 3-year span. I went nowhere. Nothing. I accomplished nothing. No, that pleasure got me nowhere. And I look back at this path that I've been on, and there's been trials and there's been tribulations, and there are a lot of hard times, and it's been much harder than it was living in my Egypt, living in my sin. But it's so worth it though. God is taking me somewhere. I'm on a path. I'm not just floating around. When I was living in my pleasure, I'm just floating around. Because you're not on a specific path. You're just on the broad path that leads to destruction. But God will take you on a narrow path, and that's why it's a little harder. You got to make some sacrifices. You got to give up some things. You got to turn your back on some things. But it's all for the greater good. It's also that your life can be used. So be encouraged. Don't just live for your pleasure. Yes, it is tempting, especially when you ain't giving in to no sin in a long, long time. The devil tries to come and whisper in your ear, just take a break, take a breather, and then get back. No, keep being faithful in the fire. Keep on serving God, and it's all gonna be worth it. I think it's all gonna be worth it on this earth. And even if that isn't true, God promises there's rewards in heaven for what you're doing right now. God sees all of it. It's all gonna be worth it. We have an expected end. We're going somewhere. The people living for pleasure, it may look like they got it all together. It may look like they're having fun. It may look like, their life is good. But the end is destruction. They're not gonna make it to the kingdom. They're not gonna make it to heaven. When they die, they're gonna be shocked that they don't even know Jesus. And He says, "Depart from me, I never knew you." And they go to hell. This is eternity we're talking about. This life is a vapor. This is eternity we're talking about. There's going to be people that are shocked that they go to hell. And now we don't wish that on nobody, but it's the truth. It's the truth though. 'Cause a lot of people, you can't live for pleasure and God. You gotta pick one or the other. Moses gave up his pleasures and suffered with the people of God. And he made the right decision.